Okay, so right there you can see a collapsed portal behind that tumbleweed, but we can get in by going up and over and right back through there. There's a lot of cold air blowing out of here too, so this must be a somewhat extensive mine. Let's go check it out. So that's looking into the tunnel we're going to enter.
Oh, sorry. It's all right.
Okay, so that's looking down through the overhead in the tunnel ceiling. We're going to drop right down there and then continue in that way. So that's how we just got in here. You can see the original entrance underneath has collapsed, and we came in through the ceiling right up there. And this is looking down the tunnel. So let's go check it out. Do feel some cold air in here, a little bit of airflow, so this must connect up to something else. I don't think it's going to be a dead end. Okay, so you can see the portal back there. We just came in and came in the main haulage tunnel here. And here is a turn to the left. So we're going to check this out and see where it goes. That's Nick and Lethe up in front of me. And got some old timbers here on the ground. Looks like a broken up explosives box right here. Explosives box fragments. And check out all the color here. Not a lot of color, but it's a lot of purple, brown, tan. Kind of interesting. So we'll keep going down here and see where this goes. So you can see here in the overhead here in the tunnel, the seam or the vein they were following. I don't know if you can see that right in the center of the, right where my light is. In the center of my light beam, you can see the vein. It's a straight line, comes right here above me. So that's what they were following here. You can sort of see that where my light is. Especially right here. There's the vein, the seam, and it just goes right down this tunnel. Yeah, this is a really rough tunnel. That entry tunnel was a lot smoother. Yeah, you can really see it right here in the overhead, the vein. Right there, running the whole way down. That's what they were following. So the vein is now moving over here to the left side of the tunnel, and it disappears right there. That's where it moved over to. And so that must have been a fault line, because here's a fault line. And so the tunnel did not follow the vein exactly down the center, or the vein did not go down the center of the tunnel. It went over here to the left. But we're still headed down this way. Yeah, a lot of minor collapses here. And I guess the tunnel makes a hard right turn. Looks like it dead ends up here, but it makes a hard right turn. Yeah, this is definitely a fault line. You can see here running on the left side. It's a smooth surface. And yeah, I guess that's what they mined on usually. So we got to turn to the right up here. It's a dead end?
Yeah, it goes back about 30 feet, and they didn't even bother mucking it out. The rocks are still lying on the floor.
Well, so this is the end of the mine. The face of the mine. They call the end of the face. Yeah, you can see what Nick was saying. They didn't even bother mucking out the blasted rock right there. They just left it. So, gotta head back. Here's a moth taking refuge in the mine. Look at that. Looks like there's a collapse up here, but Nick says it might be passable. Looks like some ventilation tubing right here. Oh yeah, that's a sketchy area.
Yeah.
Is it passable?
I feel a lot of air coming through,
Okay, it's passable.
but it's going to be a tight squeeze. It looks like it goes for maybe, well, at least 5 feet, if not farther.
So this is a really tight squeeze.
Oh, whoa.
And now I gotta squeeze through here. So we just squeezed through there. You can see all the collapse here that came down, and that was a tight squeeze. But the tunnel opens up immediately, right here. So let's go check it out. So you can see the wooden cross ties where what the ore cart tracks were attached to. We see this all the time in these abandoned mines. They take out the rails and leave behind the cross ties. More cross ties right there. Oh, we picked back up the ore cart tracks. Look at that.
I'm afraid we can't go any farther. There's a track in our way.
So the ore cart tracks bend here to the left, a 45 degree or a 90 degree turn, and just some backfill there, collapse. That didn't go anywhere. So let's take this turn and see where it goes. Oh, look at that. Tracks curve off to the right.
Most of the mines are just straight. So in curves like this, these previous stuff, unless you find a curve, it's got the same angle as this.
And here's a long straight tunnel here. Straight stretch. So we've come to an intersection, and we're going to stick with the tracks that curve here to the left again. And we'll come back and check that branch on the way back. But here's where we came from. Kind of a straight section of tunnel. And then, yeah, so we'll take this branch here to the left. Wow, a lot of ore cart rails left in this mine. They removed them from the cross ties, but they didn't take the rails out. Interesting. A little bit of collapse up here on the right. Looks like the wall kind of gave way right in there and fell down onto the tracks. And looks like the tracks curve here a little bit to the right. A lot of twists and turns in this one. Something cool up here?
Yeah, huge scoped out area.
Yeah, look at that. We'll have to go up there and check that out. So we've just come to this really narrow stope, and a big boulder has fallen, got wedged in there, but it fell from somewhere way up there. Looking straight above me here, you can see some ladders right up there that probably at one time came all the way down here to the tunnel that I'm standing in. See those ladders? I'm trying to zoom in on them. And it looks like the stope continues even further up. Now, for those of you who don't know, a stope is a cavity or void that remains underground when the miners remove a large body of ore, and that's what they did here. A narrow vein was taken out, and this cavern, this fissure, this crack is what's left, and that's called a stope. So we just came from that way through this narrow stope, and there's a intersection here. Right up ahead there, there's a vertical shaft. The tracks go over a drop, and then the stope kind of continues this way. You can see way up there, continuation of the same stope. Well, we're going to go this way because there's a tank up here. Probably used for water or air. What's that say?
Candy. Look in there.
Curtis Candy.
Look in there.
Oh man.
And that's, yeah, false floor.
Yeah. Well, it's a shaft.
Oh, there's a ladder there, yep.
There's a ladder here too. Right, if you want to find
So we just came through that slightly backfilled section of tunnel, and it's cleared out again, and we're going to continue this way, where it kind of bends around to the left. Looks like a little bit of a collapse up here. Okay, a little collapsy here, as my good friend Tom would say. Yeah, just cleared that right there. So now I gotta clear this. Very difficult to climb over collapses and film, but I'm doing my best. Wow, yeah, this is a lot of rubble, not a good sign. So continuing on, another collapse. Oh my gosh, this is a big one. Must keep going because Nick and Lethe went that way, so let's go check it out.
Ow.
So we'll continue back to the main junction and check out the other branches. So we just came from that way, and we're going to take this branch that we didn't take on the way in. There's an old bucket right there, and then it keeps on going. And it's a dead end. Yep, totally a dead end. So it smells kind of funny back here. There's an old timber. And we're headed back to the main junction.